Now call this meeting of the New Carlisle City Council, February 17th, 2026, at 6 p.m. to order. Ma'am,
All right, Mayor Lindsay,
here.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Here.
Councilwoman Grove,
Present.
Councilwoman Wright, absent, Councilwoman Eggleston,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shammy.
An invocation by Pastor David Perry.
Our most kind and gracious Lord, we're thankful tonight for your blessings. We pray that this meeting would be a productive one. Give wisdom and direction and all that's said and done. May it be beneficial to our community. May we uplift those that are in office and those that are participants tonight. Thank you for their service and for what they're dedicated to do. And have your precious way in the remaining portion of this meeting tonight. And we'll give you praise and honor and glory for it. In Jesus' name we ask it. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, council, administration, and citizens of the public. The need actions, a motion for the regular meeting minutes for 2/2/26.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Shammy, second by Mr. Bond.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy,
Yes.
Mayor Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
and Councilman Bond.
Yes.
Do we have any communications tonight?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am?
We had our Social Services Committee meeting on February 5th. We had guest speaker Samantha Danley with the Clark County she's the Clark County Crisis Coordinator. She is through Mercy Health. She helps people of all ages, can take people to appointments and home for $2 and back for $2. And those that are seniors are only $1 there and back, which is pretty great. They serve Clark County and Champaign County, and they even help with food insecurity, which I think is very important that everybody knows about this coordinator. And then we had also guests from the Salvation Army, and they're willing to partner with us and be a resource to us, which is pretty great.
Your text on screen.
And we want to thank all the people who are our snow angels that volunteered to shovel driveways in our community for those who could not afford to get their driveways shoveled or were not physically able to. So the Social Services Commission headed that up and delegated it and found volunteers and also volunteered themselves, and even people on council and on staff in New Carlisle also helped. They're working on creating a Facebook page, and yeah, that about sums it up. So they're being very proactive.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Any comments or questions? Mr. Hull?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of the public. All right. City manager's report. Our departmental reports are attached. I have most of my directors all here. If you guys have any questions, we're able to field those now. Sergeant Evans is working on an operation within the city right now and will not be attending. But I'll field any questions on her behalf and get back to you guys.
Any chance of getting the schedule out earlier to us?
I spoke with her about that. I believe that was emailed to you all today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the sheriff's office and the city of New Carlisle do have separate IT contracts. What provoked the IT work in the substation was our download speed for body camera was, I don't even know, 10 times as long as what the average person on the road. So we met with Mr. Kitco and our IT folks just to ensure it wasn't, to our infrastructure was part of the delay. found out, troubleshooted it. It was on their IT side, so their IT department was working all last week in the substation. Due to that, she was unable to access her schedule, and they're basically just systems down last week. But yes, I did speak with Sergeant Evans to ensure. We had a staff meeting last week, which I thought went really well. It also made me think that I probably need to do this more often because it was about 3.5 hours long. So it was great. It was great to have that collaboration. Well, you know, I trust these guys to run their departments, but one of the things that did come up was holistically reports and getting those done a little bit faster so we can get them provided to you, and then also give me some time to work with you all if you have questions or additives, you know, like my city manager's report. If, you know I regularly meet with the mayor, but, you know, if you would like something added that I can have as a talking point, I just want to give you guys as much time as possible. But, yes.
Any questions or comments for the manager? Mr. Bond?
I know it feels like spring outside, but there's still a lot of winter left. How's our road salt supply?
We just got 60 ton of salt in, so we are good to go.
Very good. Thank you.
He's on.
I figured he was. But
Anything else, sir? Or does that conclude your report?
I need a motion for the finance report in the mayor's court.
Does somebody like to make a motion to accept the finance report?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy.
Yes.
And a motion for the mayor's financial report for the court? Mayor's court?
Second.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy,
Yes.
Mayor Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Upcoming legislation. So, as you'll see with your agenda, we have 4 moratoriums that are coming up for action tonight. We've been discussing the last couple council meetings about, first, what is a moratorium? A moratorium is essentially like a temporary suspension of particular, businesses, things within the community, often used, and Mr. Jeffries can correct me for, doing more analysis, further exploring things, getting public input. But eventually, if you do want to permanently suspend a particular operation, business within the city, it should be codified. So what we have, 2 renewals and 2 new moratoriums that are coming up, but I did ask of council to start thinking about, other moratoriums that you all would like to see within our community. Now, I'm going to put Mr. Moore on the spot. He loves that. But this very intelligent gentleman who is a part of my team has been working diligently on our much overdue comprehensive plan. I previewed it a couple weeks ago. Are you in a position, Mr. Moore, that you can tell me when you believe a draft would be ready for my review and council's review?
I can have it ready by next council meeting.
By next council meeting. So, first off, he started that in November, late November, after I did his annual appraisal, and I gave him the objective to have me a draft before his next appraisal. So he cranked this thing out over the holidays on top of all the other things, historic snowstorm, merger stuff, everything you could imagine, and still crank this thing out. It is a very polished product. I know there's a lot of dialogue I would like to have with you all about this, but for the public, the comprehensive plan is essentially the blueprint to the future of the city of New Carlisle. It is an extremely important document that makes dictations, that can surpass all of us in this room. So we are going through historic growth within our community, and there's a lot of things that can happen when you have a historic growth. So the comprehensive plan is really the framework that will manage the development as it comes to us. So just some ideas that I've thrown out, just to help, plant some seeds in your brain. I think I would like to have a chance to sit with Brian and comprehensively go over the comprehensive plan with him. And then I'm thinking of mid to late March, doing a work session with you all that I can present. I'll obviously give you a read ahead. I'd like to give you at least a week to digest it. And then we could come in and do a roundtable, invite members of the public to participate into it, but give a brief on the comprehensive plan, and then start talking through. Now, comprehensive plans and moratoriums should go hand in hand because this is the framework. So what I need to know, one of the things that I do to sell New Carlisle is I say we're 15 minutes from everything. So what do you want 5 minutes from? And that's the question. And I think it's a bit of a dilemma almost because it's different opinions from different people. So, but there is some things culturally that I just don't feel that we're aligned with. Like, I don't think we need a Walmart. I don't think we need big box stores. I don't think we honestly need a lot more fast food restaurants. I promote this town as a small town feel, wholesomeness. Not saying that these companies aren't wholesome per se, but we promote, small businesses. And a lot of times with big box stores, we have a lot of small businesses in town. And I think there's very negative impacts to people who've been with us, long before we ever had this development. So we have a lot of commercial property around the city that is up for sale. And it's only a matter of time before somebody's going to seize on that investment. So you can make decisions today that's going to impact tomorrow by having some dictations of what you want and don't want in the city. So as we get to the action items, I'd ask you to, utilize your conscience, use your perspective on things and of where you would like to see the city go, when you're making these types of decisions. So if you would like to schedule a work session for mid-March, I believe we have standing work sessions in between of every council member meeting. So if there's a Monday in between council meetings in March, I'll make sure me and my team are ready to go.
If you give us the CIP on March 2nd, the 9th would be a week after that to give us a week to look at it. Looking at my schedule, I'm pretty busy that week. So we could do it on the 9th or the 23rd, whatever council's feeling is.
23rd.
23rd. Mr. Cook,
No problem, either day.
Mr. Bond,
Either one is fine.
Mrs. Grubb.
I'm good with that. I was looking at my
Ms. Hagerman?
calendar. Either one.
We'll set one for the 23rd.
23rd.
That'll give Ryan, Mr. Moore more time if he needs it. Or give us a couple of weeks to look at it and to ask questions. So it'll be at 6 o'clock here at Heritage Hall.
And my hope with this, especially with giving you guys enough, read ahead time, is we can then kind of talk through, provide clarity, go for, consensuses on changes, because I would like to introduce it into April. So we can solidify our comprehensive plan. If we need more time, we'll take more time. If we need another work session, we'll take it. But just so you guys are kind of tracking my schedule, I'd like to, let's get through the nuts and bolts in March, start our introduction and action in April, and then it would be my recommendation if we get there, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think it'd be a good time for a town hall. If you guys adopt the comprehensive plan, I think this would be a good time to, and honestly, I would probably ask that you do the comprehensive plan, or do the town hall on the night that you're going to vote on the comprehensive plan. So then you entice the public to come into the meeting, give you some perspectives there before you're going to make your vote. And you know what? If you vote it down, we'll just go back and do a working session and get back to the drawing board. But I think we owe it to our community to let them know the direction we want to take the city.
Does council have any problem doing a town hall with the CIP on April 20th,
No.
providing it's introduced on the 7th?
And just so, I think we're, CIP and comp plan are two separate, so we have the
The
capital
CIP,
improvement
yeah.
plan, okay, so the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mr. Hall, can I just mention one thing,
You want to pump the brakes?
if you don't mind?
Let's get through the working session and then schedule the,
Yes, because I think, once you get into the working session, you may want to get more community involvement in the finalization of the comprehensive plan, so your community has the buy-in.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's just going to be up to the seven of you to decide the next 10 to 15 years for the city. I think it's more important to have your constituents be a part of that, and maybe form like a subcommittee of some sort, open it up to a public work session, invite people to come out and voice their opinions on what they want for their future. That's just my opinion. Most cities do that.
okay.
And so, that's just my opinion.
Could they not voice their opinions at a town hall?
They could, but if you're planning on, is that going to be an introduction at the same time? You're introducing this new comprehensive plan, or
We could do the introduction on the 20th, or we could do it on the 7th.
use the town hall to get community input and
Right.
the following month introduce it? And
That would work
under
too.
action.
and we have also some other methods, surveys and mailers with the water bill. Especially if we're talking about, things that we don't want in the community. We could also solicit information and say, what do you want in the city? What do you feel is missing here in New Carlisle? That's 15 minutes away from everything.
If you'd like, I can create an online survey next week and get something posted, a link on our website. And we can share a link for our online survey as well.
Does council think about the online survey?
I think that's a great idea. Let's hear from our people.
Yeah.
Let's make it convenient for them. They're hard workers. They can do it on their own time.
I agree. When could you have that up, Mr. Moore?
I can have a survey done next week, by the end of next week.
Okay.
I'll meet with Mr. Hall, we'll generate what type of questions that we want to put into this community-based, maybe something geared towards residents and businesses alike. And just do a community-based survey.
Okay. Are you good with that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. We'll go that way.
Okay, moving on, discussion topics. So I do have an update for the United Senior Services. I did make telephone contact with Mr. Stephen Massey, who's the newly appointed USS Director. I know he started the first week of February. He was a little over a week on the job when I talked to him on the phone. From what he relayed to me, he was unaware of the situation in New Carlisle until he took the position. He asked me if I could give him a couple days or a week, is what it came out to schedule-wise, to be able to work with his staff to get some information to figure out exactly what happened with services out here. We are scheduled to meet one-on-one. He's coming to New Carlisle on Thursday. So my plan is to provide updates to the mayor with hope that the word will get out to the rest of council of what our findings are. Tentatively, Mr. Moore was in on the call with me with Mr. Massey. I know he has intentions of wanting to come to a senior services meeting, maybe more appropriate at a council meeting since this has gotten so much attention. Once we have a plan in place and he's ready to brief it. But he recognizes that he's going to have to, answer for his organization, why they made the decisions they did and what their plan for the future is.
Well, they get a lot of tax dollars out of New Carlisle on their health levy, which they get. Not all of it, but they get quite a bit of it. And we're not getting the return in New Carlisle that I think we should be getting for the tax dollars they're receiving. It's going to other places, which they're getting tax dollars for them also.
Yes, sir.
So they need to pay some attention to us, I think, and help our seniors out.
Yes. And I plan to sell our demographics in our current state as well. I mean, we are above the state average for seniors in New Carlisle. And additionally, we're one of, there's only 2 cities in the Clark County, and we're one of them. And the other is we're rapidly developing, and a good amount of our homes are being sold to seniors. So, we understand that, New Carlisle, the west end of Clark County, is, under-resourced, and we feel that we have a seat at the table. So I'll see what I can do and get back to you.
Thank you.
Next is just kind of paraphrased, kind of shot this out to Miss Lowry kind of late. But do you have an IT update? It's essentially our website. So there was state legislation that passed over the summer. State's keeping me busy. All this stuff they're passing over the summer. Well, they put a mandate out for municipalities' web pages that they need to be ADA accessible.
Yep.
So exactly what ADA accessibility means, I'm not the expert, so we have to hire an expert to make sure that we satisfy the WCAG checklist. But it's essentially making it user-friendly for folks who have disabilities. I mean, in layman's terms, increasing the font, making things voice recognition. Currently, our website does not do that. It is not compliant. So Mr. Kitco, Ms. Lowry, and I had a couple meetings with a third-party entity. They gave a demonstration and sent us a proposal. So just so you know, this is something that we'll be talking about. Also, there's some additives with this. Our website is, it's behind the times. It's not very user-friendly. And there's a lot of things that you can do with technology now that you couldn't do when that website was designed, like online payments. I talk a lot about our manpower shortages and things of that nature, so I'm taking that into consideration where we can, not only increase first primal, make sure we're ADA compliant, secondary, make it more manageable for, users trying to use it. But third, if I can make our operations more efficient, I think it's something we should go after. But I need to make sure that our operations, our finance director, and everyone else, because the last thing that I want to do is disrupt their operations while they're also dealing with manpower shortages. So the website change is coming. I have to be ADA compliant. But how deep I go, I plan to work with Ms. Harris and her team to see what we can do with this website.
Do you think if we did this, it would require an update on the financial software to be, so that talk to one another?
We aren't sure. We're just scratching the surfaces. We just found out in the meeting on Thursday that, and we were looking at all types, so they have over 10,000, they own the market. Company's called Civics Plus, and they primarily just deal with municipalities and their web pages. And we were surveying different websites of different cities to see what you could do. And he clicked on something and it said, you can apply and pay for your permit here. And I was like, apply and pay for your permit? That's like a 2-man job, within the city of, how you get a permit in New Carlisle. And you're telling me I could do this? Because the other thing is it makes it mobile friendly. So I could do this from my phone? And he answered yes. But the question was, the compatibility with our financial software and everything else. Those are the things that we want to explore. But it did get us to the point of intrigue. Where we're like, okay, I'm interested. If that would make it a lot easier, especially with families with dual incomes that don't have time 7 to 4 to go to the city building. They're out funding the city, working their jobs. So if I can make it easier on them, I plan on making it easier on them, so long as I don't disrupt our operations and, our current software agreements and things of that nature. Now, the other thing is, and I failed to mention the cost. So we did not forecast for this back in the fall. And the cost, I think, would require a supplemental if we were going to do it this year. But we would have the time with the April 2027 deadline to put it in the budget for 2027, but we got to get on it right at the first of the year to make sure we're compliant, within 3 months.
I think if it's in the budget for 27, and then pull the trigger on it January 2nd
Okay.
to get things done. And between now and then, it'll give you time to find out if this software and financial software is compliant with one another, or what would we have to do there, if anything? Or if this IT company can make the software talk to one another. Mr. Bond?
So the state mandated this. Did the state set aside monies for this?
No. Business as usual in the state, you know.
Yeah.
They mandate things and they don't.
Is there anything in our budget we can cut this year to forego, to get this, to prioritize this versus something else?
If I may, this would be
You want to speak?
about $15,000, be $10,000 maintenance like, or for the setup to build it, and then about $5,000 a year to maintain it.
We're currently paying a couple thousand between two entities, Bridge Group and Digital Graphics, for our current webpage.
The one company holds the domain name, and then our other company does all the daily web stuff.
That's $2,000 a year, $2,000 a month? What are we?
$2,000 a year.
A year.
Yeah.
And we're looking at 20 grand.
No, 15.
A one-time startup cost of around
About 60-some hundred.
$60-some $100, and then an annual renewal of $5,000 to maintain.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to explore, I just have to put this on notice for you guys. The other thing, I know I'm feeding you a lot of facts in a vacuum here, but Mr. Kiko reminded me it's a 12-week build time. So it's going to take 12 weeks. So if I start 1 January, that literally, like, nothing can go wrong.
Puts us right into
Like,
April.
I have literally 3 months to get compliant. So there is a potential for a supplemental that we'll need to do. You know, I think we can make some justification easier, because we need to invest in manpower in the future. And if I can get my head wrapped around how these online payments work and everything else, and then, again, so long as it doesn't disrupt the operations, you think about the cost of one customer service person with the city with benefits. I mean, it's $100,000 a year. So, I mean, if this website can replace one human, I mean, it's worth its cost for the next 10 years. So it's just something, again, I just try to give you guys the information and let the public know. I get this stuff in a vacuum as well. I mean, it just comes to me and it's like, oh, I'm talking about websites this week. Didn't realize that. So we'll do our due diligence. We're going to dig into this. I don't want to, we're not in a position where we're pinned in a corner and we just have to make a decision right now. But it does need to become a priority before we get behind the 8 ball.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
What's the time frame that they allocate for this stuff all come in compliance?
April. Has to be done by
By
April.
April
Yeah,
of next
next
year?
year.
April 27 for cities under 50,000.
And then 28 for cities over.
26, it's actually
26,
in a couple
oh.
months for cities over 50,000.
Yeah, so we're lucky we're
That's cutting it close.
not over 50,000. 'cause I'd be in a tight spot right now.
So I guess I would have a question. What does the finance director think? Do we have the money to pull the trigger on this year, to get it ready? Later on this year, to get it ready for January 1 or 2?
It's not in the budget, but the budget, has a not to exceed. So as the information in there and the meetings that Howie and Don's going to be in and get that information and we get a little bit better quote, we'll probably still need the supplemental, but it might be 6 months from now or 4 months from now, by the time they're ready. And then we probably could hit all the deadlines. We'll know what we're not spending to see what we have extra. We might not need the supplemental, but right now it's February, so it's hard to
Okay.
say.
Okay. Mr. Kiko?
In our review of this whole process, we started with websites, but as some of these major municipal companies, these companies that work for municipalities and various government agencies, they have 15 or 20 different programs they offer, very legitimate programs. They actually carry a competitor of who we currently use for not finance, but for another item that we're gonna look into, because when you go to our website right now, and you have to go to codified ordinances to search your code, there is a potential way, and we haven't even dug this deep into it yet, but you go to our website, just search in fence. It's gonna search permits, the code, and anywhere that word fence is in there, and give you the list of where you could go look up things about fence. Where ours right now does not do that. Now, if we even upgraded but kept our current vendor we have for code, it won't cross-search. So we still have more programs that they offer that might even be better than what we currently have. We're just not sure yet, so there might even be more to this.
So it sounds like what you're looking at would be more beneficial to the city and the citizens,
Potentially.
potentially. Okay. Any other questions on this subject? Mr. Hall?
Okay, back to me. Fireworks update. Signed a fireworks contract. Same place, same date, same time. The one thing Mr. Kiko could probably speak more to is still working out the exact display. As you know, we got new houses over there, kind of projected that, eventually we may either have to move the site or have a smaller, not smaller show, but maybe smaller shells, which, consequence of that is you can't see them as far away across the city. So as we build this display, once we finalize it, we'll make sure to let you know. But I do think, some information I just found out yesterday, I shared with Mayor Lindsay today, is, the New Carlisle Baseball Association collaborates with other communities, one being Bethel, Miami. So, this is a big event for us in our city of New Carlisle, so I think it's great that we can hold it at the ball fields for as long as we do. They have ball games leading all the way up to, the celebration. You got, max participation of families out there, just good old-fashioned fun, for the community. So I was very happy. I was leaning towards wanting to try to keep it there for as long as we can. But it does sound like we can make it happen for this year.
Yep, still the same location, and then just so you're aware, there's a 35% tariff on fireworks.
Oh, nice.
99.8% fireworks come from China. Just for a quick fact, they were the inventor of gunpowder too, so that's where most of this stuff comes from. So a shell last year that was $1 cost $1.35. So our show was $22,000 last year. To keep the same show is gonna be $25,000. But because of the homes being built, we're looking at reducing from 5-inch shells to 4-inch shells. Not much difference, but we had 152 5-inch shells in last year's show, so we might just change that up a little bit to change the cadence. It'll be good.
And that's on the 26th or the 27th of June?
27th.
27th, okay. Just wanted to make sure I had it on my calendar right. What else you got, sir?
That's all I have for the city manager's report. Sorry for the sigh.
Any questions for the manager? Hearing none, ma'am? We go to resolutions? Oh, wait a minute, I missed something. Let's go committee reports. We have none. Comments from the members of the public? Hearing none? Yes, ma'am?
Charlotte Farley, 1204 Hemlock Way. I know that Mr. Hall was just talking about ADA compliant with the website. Is this door here ADA compliant? I just happened to think about that. Is that door ADA?
Yes.
Oh, is it? Okay, I was just wondering. I'm thinking, hey, I just wondered. And I don't know if the city building is, where it is now. I don't know if that's ADA, even though I do go in and drop my water bill off, but I really don't pay attention.
Yeah, the ADA portion of it, you have to go down to the sidewalk and up the ramp to get in that building. This building was built with federal funds, so.
So it had to be?
It had to be, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, that was my only comment, I guess. And I think Mr. Hall and Mr. Moore are doing a great job. They really are. And I so appreciate Carrie Ann and the Social Services Commission, so I'm looking forward to, moving right ahead with that. The seniors actually, we're meeting this coming Friday. No, I'm sorry, Saturday. Every month, we're doing Meeting of the Minds. And in that, some of the topics we'll be talking about for this coming Saturday will be a name change. Everyone is doing some suggestions for names. I put in 2, Die Hard Diamonds. Diamonds meaning 60, okay, or Golden Oldies. So, we'll see. And we're going to be talking about nonprofit and whether or not these folks are interested in pickleball. So those are just some of the topics that I plan to bring up whenever we meet on Saturday. And all the activities that the folks are doing there at Lake Avenue, I'm putting together a spreadsheet. And it's going to be an Excel spreadsheet. And Carrie, if you would like to have that versus me passing that through Michael, I think, as the president, and the secretary, you let me know. But I've made a nice spreadsheet of everything that was done in January. And of course, when February's over, I'll have that. So it'll always be in arrears, but it's at least going to give a blueprint of what everyone's been doing, of what they've been doing, how many have attended, and what they've been doing. So, and we also have a calendar that is, right now it's handwritten, but that's okay. It works for now. We'll do that. So, and there is a Facebook page apparently out there. I have not been given the name of the Facebook page. And so hopefully I'll get that on Saturday. And depends upon if we do the name changes and we all decide what the name will be, we'll go ahead and Janice said that she would update that Facebook page with a new name. So
The name change of what? I missed that part.
well, instead of calling it Lake Avenue Seniors.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So like Golden Oldies, and then underneath would be New Carlisle Seniors.
Okay.
So it's going to be something to that. Of course, New Carlisle Seniors will be part of it. It'll just be the second line down.
Okay.
Yes, so, okay,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
I did have
Okay.
one more comment,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor. I apologize. I was informed on Friday of something very substantial that I believe will be celebrated very soon at a council meeting. But our outstanding finance director, Ms. Colleen Harris, was awarded an award from the State Auditor of Ohio, Award for Excellence for her 2024 fiscal year. From what I understand, this is an extremely substantial award that isn't just given out willy-nilly. So, very humbled to serve with Ms. Harris and her team. We'll have an opportunity, I think, with a guest that will be presenting this. But I just wanted you all to know, these are the kind of people I get to walk around with every day. So,
I told you she was the best.
I have a good team. It's a very good team, too, so, but thank you.
I know Mrs. Harris is in the spotlight at the moment, but I think she is a fantastic finance director. She's been with the city for many years. She left for a brief moment and came back. But I also think all of our administration and staff are pretty awesome.
Exactly. Thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none? Mrs. Stapleton?
All right. So for resolutions tonight, there's one introduction and one action. Resolution 2026-06R, introduction, public hearing, and action tonight. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a new 2026 Ram 5500 dump truck.
Second.
A motion from Vice Mayor Shammy, a second by Mrs. Grove.
the summary of this legislation, it's a long overdue asset. that the Public Works folks have been wanting for a while. Dump trucks aren't cheap, about $120K to be able to purchase one of these, but I will say, been able to spend a good amount of time with them, and they are very good stewards of city assets. So I think this thing, so long as you approve, will be with the fleet for foreseeable future. Also, I believe this was contracted locally-ish as well. So that's another one of my principles of, we do need to protect taxpayer assets, but we also have businesses in town that are paying taxes, and if we can utilize their resources. So this is through the Toby Auto Group, so through the Chrysler Dodge dealer here in town.
Any comments, questions, ma'am?
I'm not sure if you print out and the resolution that is attached to the bottom of the agenda says 2025.
Yeah.
Here, you got it.
We got a message about that.
John,
You got it.
we got it.
We have it down here. We have the correct one down. Thank
Okay.
you for pointing that out, though.
Any other comments, questions? Mrs. Staples?
All right, Councilwoman Eggleston. Councilwoman Eggleston.
Sorry, yes.
Sorry. Vice Mayor Shammy.
Yes.
Mayor Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Grow.
Yes.
Accepted 6-0. So ordinances, there's 1 introduction and 4 action tonight. Ordinance 2026-03, introduced on 2/2/26, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance extending a moratorium of new vape shops within the city of New Carlisle, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Shammy, second by Mrs. Eggleston. Any,
Yes, and to provide a brief summary of this, vape shops, for those that don't know, it's essentially vaporized nicotine that you inhale. We currently have one standalone vape shop in the IGA shopping center, and then I also believe these products are served at least one of the gas stations, if not both. So we believe that we have an adequate supply of vape shops within the city of New Carlisle, and I would recommend eventually codifying this.
well, we'll go ahead with the vote, and then I'll make the comment.
All right, Vice Mayor Shammy.
Yes.
Mayor Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Eggleston.
Yes.
Accepted 6-0.
Even though that we extended this moratorium or put this moratorium on vape shops, if council so desires and wishes, we can codify this at any time in the future. You do not have to wait for the year to expire, to my knowledge. Y'all looking at me like I'm saying something wrong over there.
You would just probably do it, make it like a conditional use or something like that. I don't know if you're gonna wanna do an outright ban, because you have existing businesses doing that, but you could kind of limit how many businesses are able to come into the city for that purpose.
So we can codify it to not allow any more to come in, is what you're saying?
In a way.
It'd be like a permit thing.
Yeah.
We have so many permits,
Okay.
and, currently, we can look deeply into that, or more deep into that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So then we don't have to continue with these renewals, if you also choose.
What's council's pleasure on that? You want the city manager and the law director to look into seeing how it can be codified to stop any more from coming in?
Absolutely.
Ms. Eggleston?
We just go with the moratorium for right now.
Okay. We can look into it and decide at a later date, but we'll do the moratorium
Okay.
for now.
Okay. Ordinance 2026-04, introduced on 2/2/26, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance extending the moratorium of cannabis operations within the city of New Carlisle, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Shammy, second by Mrs. Grow. Mr.
All right.
Hall.
So to provide a summary of this moratorium, so once again, we're extending a moratorium that was signed last year. Cannabis, marijuana, THC. One of the things, the state of Ohio did legalize through the voters to legalize recreational and medical use of marijuana. So there's been quite a few dispensaries popping up around us. And we've even proposed by a dispensary of having interest in planning a dispensary here in New Carlisle. So I know Mr. Lindsay sent out an informational email talking about some of the economics of, what these dispensaries, the reason why they're so popular in municipalities is there's a lot of tax incentives from municipalities, and we're talking into the hundreds of thousands per year. So there is financial gains, and that's one of the reasons why municipalities are seeking these deals. However, if I would be able to give some advice as your chief advisor, I think I would recommend voting with your conscience on these. I think there is a certain culture and set of values here in New Carlisle. And while I see the financial incentives could help a lot within our city operations, providing, amenities to our public, I don't believe that it's right to compromise our values for financial gain.
I would agree with that, but as the manager stated, Ohio overwhelmingly voted for the cannabis and whatnot last November. What I would propose to council, if you so desire, is put this to an informational vote to the citizens and see what their thoughts is. That doesn't bind us into anything. But we are here to represent the citizens, so we should have their input on some things. It could come back and bite us. It could not. What's council's thoughts on that?
I think it needs to go to the ballot.
Okay. I agree with you. I think we should let some things, they elect us to make these decisions, but with the way that it was voted on last November, I don't know what portion of New Carlisle residents voted for it or not vote for it, but I don't have a problem with putting this on the ballot and getting a question asked if we should allow this or not, and then go with what the voters, what our bosses are telling us. Any other comments? Mr. Cook?
Would it be wise to split this between recreational and medicinal? The reason I say that is because I know there are a lot of, I guess the word is our individuals that do have prescriptions for medical marijuana. And I think that being that would be a prescription, I guess the word is solidified means of getting that drug, I would think that some of the older folks might be more in favor of voting for the medical marijuana than they would the recreational.
I got a question for the law director. Can we put a question on the ballot to separate them two, or would it be two separate questions?
It'd probably be two separate
Two
questions.
separate questions? Okay. Mrs. Grove?
I just want to state that we do have a dispensary within 10 minutes of our city. I just want to point out that.
Springfield or Heber?
It's on Wineland Avenue.
Oh, I didn't know there was one down
It's called
there.
Canna Boys. It is 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes from this building.
Go there.
No.
So what's council's, you want to go on with a vote on this? Or do you want to amend it and put it to the voters and table this ordinance? Mr. Bond?
I would go ahead and vote on this. I haven't heard anything from anybody wanting it on a ballot or anything. I would say until we have a line of people asking us to put it on the ballot, I guess I wouldn't. That's just my take on it.
Okay.
I would make my decision based on conscience and what I believe the good of the city would be
Right.
at this point.
So Mr. Moore, can you add this question to your survey?
I can. And I would add it in two parts.
Okay.
Asking if they want recreational and asking if they want medicinal.
Okay,
The recreational is going to be more in line with what Councilwoman Grow just mentioned on Whiteman. That's more of a recreational facility where they're allowed to advertise their products in their windows, whereas the medical side, they don't do that. It would look like a CVS pharmacy.
okay.
So there is a difference in what's being displayed to the public, the differences in those two types of facilities.
Is council okay with that question going on the survey that Mr. Moore's will be putting together?
Yeah.
Okay? If you could do that, add that to your survey, sir, we'd appreciate it. Mr. Stapleton?
Okay, so to vote on this one, Councilwoman Eggleston,
No.
Vice Mayor Shammy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. Mayor Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow.
Yes.
So pass 5-1.
A little more information on the email I sent out from the lady, and I forget if it was Virginia or West Virginia. She is willing to come over here, drive 7 hours, I think it is, to chat with us. If council would like for her to come at some point, I could reach out to her and arrange that if it's council's desire.
Hear what she has to say.
Even though we just put a moratorium on it for another year?
Yeah.
I've sat in on a lecture about it for the state of Ohio after it had become legal. When we went to the Sunshine Law training in Columbus, it was about an hour and a half long, and I sat in on a lecture about it, so I know quite a bit. If other council members want to be educated on it, that's cool.
Okay. Mrs. Stapleton?
Ordinance 2026-05, introduced on 2/2/26, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance establishing a moratorium on small solar facilities within the city of New Carlisle.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Eggleston, second by Vice Mayor Shammy. Mr. Hall?
In the summary, so this is establishing one. Solar farms, I know they have a moratorium in Clark County that recently was signed back in the fall of '25. You know, talking with Mr. Jeffries about this, my staff along with, members of council, we do have agricultural property within the city of New Carlisle. One thing that, I feel has been a pretty majority trend across council is, preserving our green space and preserving our natural resources. So again, I don't think the monetary benefits outweigh our values, and I believe that we should establish a moratorium. Also, to utilize what the moratorium is for, to give us some, deeper understanding of solar farms, and then make, a decision again. I don't know if that requires some sort of conditional use. I know we have it for homes. I'm not recommending completely anti-solar. I see a lot of benefits of solar. But, we are known, it's why our settlers came here. We have some of the richest soil in the entire world. and to put a solar panel on top of it, from my understanding, there is collateral consequences that could impact that precious soil that we have.
Any other comments or questions? Mrs. Stapleton?
Okay, Mayor Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
No.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy.
Yes.
Accepted 5-1. Ordinance 2026-06, introduced on 2/2/26, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance establishing a moratorium on data centers within the city of New Carlisle.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Shammy, seconded by Mrs. Grow. Mr. Hall?
Yes, so for the public, data centers are essentially, I guess in layman's term, cooling centers of technology. They utilize water as their method of cooling. They've become extremely popular across the state of Ohio, once again, because of the natural resource of water. Again, Mr. Kiko knows much more about water than I do, but I believe we sit on one of the largest aquifers in the entire world, Dayton Glacier. And again, from my quick armchair study of this, the amount of water that is required to, support an average-sized data center is equivalent of a city of 50,000 people. So I did spend some time in environmental law with the State Attorney General's office, and it's nothing against the environmental law professionals, but it is very similar to how traffic studies are done. And putting up a light, it's a dangerous accident, but there hasn't been enough accidents yet. Unfortunately, we have to have some more accidents, and then we get a traffic light. Environmental law works very similarly. And the Clean Air Act was passed in 1969, so it's in its infancy of the history of law. So what I'm worried about, without knowing a lot of information, back in my day it was fracking. And fracking was the next best thing. And then we started to see some of the consequences of fracking and the damage that did to the environment. So while they are becoming very, very popular all around us, I think it would be only prudent and good stewards of our land to scope this out a little bit, get some more information before we would entertain utilizing our agricultural property, especially for data centers.
Any questions or comments?
I would like to see this as an ordinance at some point.
Okay.
I agree with Councilwoman Mary Ann.
As well as the solar farms.
Okay. Mr. Kiko, if at some point in the future we would allow a data center to come into New Carlisle, would our water plant be able to supply the water they would need? Or would we have to redo our water plant facilities and wells?
Well, we only have so much to set aside of capacity for that purpose, not for that purpose, but what we want to do for building out the city. It's hard to tell, what they might need. I mean, it could be a 100 square foot facility that needs 10,000 gallons a day. Oh, we could support that, but to do something that needs 2, 3, 4, 500,000 gallons a day, where that data center is equivalent to the city's daily production, that's tricky, because then, I'm at 1.2 is what our capacity is. And so if I'm, doing half into one structure and the other half to the city and something happens, they can't really shut down. That's your cloud. So it's tough. I mean,
Okay.
it's hard to tell what they would actually use.
Okay. Just information, it was a question. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, too, at your guys' pleasure, if any of these moratoriums you would like a subject matter expert to come in and brief the council, I think part of this is we just don't have the information to be able to make a good dictation as to whether or not this fits in our city model or doesn't. I'd be happy over the course of this year, through the duration of the moratorium, to reach out to professionals that are much more educated than I am on these particular items, so we could just be, again, prudent to our taxpayers, because there's a lot of financial gains for municipalities. I believe Columbus has around 30, they have the most. I know they're popping up all over Dayton. I believe even Springfield, I heard in a public meeting, is getting a couple data centers. So if you all would like me to start arranging that and reaching out, I'd be happy to accommodate.
I think more information we have on these subjects, the better off we would be to make intelligent decisions. What is council's pleasure on that?
Works for me.
If you can arrange to have the pros come in and give us information, that would be awesome, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Stevens?
All righty, Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy, Mayor Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow.
Yes.
Accepted 6-0. Ordinance 2026-07, introduction tonight, public hearing and action on 3/2/26, an ordinance approving an employment agreement with Donald R. Hall III. In other additional city business, it is open for other city-related business.
Anything council would like to bring up? Oh. Nothing?
Sorry.
Yep.
I'd like to see additional moratoriums on dollar stores, large commercial franchises. A lot of our people have complained about McDonald's and Taco Bell, and they don't want to see any more of that at all. And gas stations, we've got plenty.
We have two, that's enough.
We're good.
Is there any other moratoriums council would like to see on certain things or not?
Tattoo parlors.
Pardon me?
Tattoo parlors.
Tattoo parlors? We have two, I think.
We actually have more than that.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, there is another one that's going in, just gave an occupancy permit for their sugar shelf. She's subletting a space back there to another tattoo artist.
Okay. Well, that'd be three then, so that would be probably a good one.
Could I make a recommendation on that?
Yes, sir.
Garage sale stores.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
What is it?
Garage sale stores.
Yes.
Stuff that you find in a garage sale or a storage facility, you want to resell it. That would be another one that isn't the best fit.
They can utilize
Would that be like
eBay for
a,
that.
like
We
a
have-
thrift store type of thing, or is it different? the
We have
verbiage
one
of that?
already, and it's filthy and cluttered. Actually, we have more than one. We have two.
Yeah. Yeah, there-
We have three now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Can we have one for large snow amounts? Can we do that?
Main Street.
But this, some of that there too is part of the, not the code enforcement side of the zoning rewrite, but the planning and zoning side of the rewrite, which after 1200s, a lot of this stuff gets re-mentioned in those areas, because a lot of it's not defined.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll, again, revisit some of this, and kind of decide what is the best fit. And that ties into the comprehensive plan as well. What do we want for the next 10 years in our downtown corridor?
Okay, yes, sir.
And so one of the other things, and this kind of feeds into the comprehensive plan as well, and thanks for bringing up some of these additional ones. One of the other things that we do have an issue with, especially on Main Street, is our vacant commercial properties that have been vacant for years. There's some different methods that you can utilize as a municipal government to prevent that. One, you can give time limits on vacancies. But the other thing to consider when you're doing these moratoriums and think about things you don't want, obviously we need to think about what we do want. But we already do have, a decent amount of vacant, businesses. And that is something, that I would like to talk with Mr. Jeffries about. Because we have such a limited amount of commercial property, we're not looking to gain a lot of extra commercial property. So if a property owner sits on a commercial property for years and doesn't run a business, that could very well be a business that is, turning a profit and, contributing into the tax base to help offset the taxes that our residents are having to pay. So, there's just something else for you all to consider. I'm all about property rights. However, we're all shareholders in this, our residents are paying their share. I feel our businesses, especially if you're going to hold on to commercial property, that it should be a functioning business.
I agree. Ma'am?
Is there a way that we can get more like, maybe like, not like huge factories, but small factories
Like industrial?
in town? Yeah, more industrial, like machinist shop, things like that, in our community, because our community is full of blue collar workers. And I would love to see some trades in town. I don't know if there's a way to pull that kind of thing in, but if we could, that would be fantastic, especially for our youth.
We do have, I believe, just north of us, an industrial area that could be an industrial park
Yeah.
for that type of business.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
No, absolutely. This is something I've talked a lot with Mr. Kitco about, something with a comprehensive plan that should be very clear within the, reading between the lines, is what the town identity is. And, I've classified us kind of home of the trades. That's what we are. We're proud, blue-collar workers, hardworking, folks. So I've even talked about, reaching out to the Clark County CTC, see if we can get some collaboration with them, along with Clark State, Sinclair. But again, that'll be something that's, definitely inferred, if not proposed formally, in the comprehensive plan, is what do you want our identity to be? And, let's figure that out as, for you all as a governing body and me as your, top executive to then go execute. But I've seen a lot of small towns like this that go through these rapid developments and they completely lose their identity in the process. And I think it's very important that, what made us special before this development, we pass that on to future generations. And, I was raised by a blue-collar worker, and I'm very proud of that. So I think I think there's a lot of folks out there that would like a community of trades and trade workers. So if that is something that we can enshrine in our comprehensive code or plan, we will definitely work at, helping, help us, clearly identify ourselves. I'll just say that.
Sounds like a plan. Yes, sir.
Just kind of circling back to the vacant properties, you can also do vacant property registrations, where the property owner pays a fee to register their property every year. And each year subsequent to that, the fee doubles and triples.
Okay.
So eventually, they could be paying upwards of $10,000 a year to keep that property vacant. So it would almost more or less force them to do, some kind of business out of that, or sell it, or lease it, or something along those lines. So I've met with 2 other companies already. One is the current company I use for permitting and code enforcement, iWorks, and the other one, UnitReg, does also rental registrations and vacant property registrations, and it doesn't cost the city anything. The software is free, and the end user pays for all the software connections.
Free, I like free.
So it's sparked my interest as well. I know it makes her happy.
Well, anytime we don't spend money makes her happy.
That was my first priority.
She gets awards.
She gets awards for us. That would be something, I think, if council has no objection, to look into and probably implement. Because that could also include vacant homes.
Correct. It was businesses and residential and rental registrations for the residential and business side as well, because our goal is to protect renters who are living in substandard conditions. And so what that would include would be, we would be able to go out and inspect inside and outside of the home. It's a $25 a year registration fee for the residential side. We can go out and inspect the inside and the outside of the home, make any notations of electrical issues, plumbing issues, structural issues, and have those homeowners making sure those things are in good up in repair before they're able to rent them out. If they have continuous renters year after year after year, we would still inspect those properties. But a lot of the times a renter won't say anything because they might get evicted,
Mhm.
right? And so this would actually force homeowners, who are renting out their properties to make sure that their properties are in safe, upkept conditions for their renters.
Would you need a, yes, sir.
How many rental homes do we have in town?
That's a great question. I have that information in the comprehensive plan, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I want to tell you this much, it's like 40%. I do remember 60% being homeowner occupied.
And we're above the state average, for sure. And that's something else when you have to consider like townhouses and apartments, which I know has come up. Or when you look at the health of cities, you want to posture yourself towards married couples with children. You look at your, financially most stable communities, and they're over the state average when it comes, that's the trend. Lower rental numbers, we're over the state average in rentals, so I would probably dissuade you from wanting to consider more rentals in town when we're already above the state average. Now, some of the things that you can do is, turn those rentals into property owners and entice folks to want to buy those homes rather than, just creating a rental market here because it's low income. And the housing prices are low, so, landlords are running a business just like anyone else is running a business.
Another thing to consider along with that is out-of-state LLCs purchasing up properties in town to rent them out. Those are the hardest ones to get in compliance.
Can we stop those through an ordinance?
I would imagine so. That's a more question for Mr. Jeffries than it is for me, but there are some, I would imagine, municipalities. I can research that for you if you like, but.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure you could do some sort of restrictions.
Would council be interested in doing some sort of a restriction on LLCs out of state buying properties to where we can't get in touch with them?
Yeah,
Yes.
yep, absolutely.
Mr. Hall?
Yes, sir.
Can you direct your law director to work on that for us?
I think you took the minute.
I'm just doing it all from memory.
And back
Legal
on-
bill's gonna be pretty big this year, Mr. Mayor.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a lot of legal stuff to get done.
I would also like to add that a lot of this is part of my plan in the code rewrite. I've already researched rental registrations, vacant property registrations, I do want to add the LLC purchase properties to that. But when we get into that chapter 1200s, a lot of this is going to be in that part. So I'm not so sure if you want a piecemeal legislation or just do it all at once when it comes to the 1200s chapter. For the 1460s, I already gave Jake, or Mr. Jeffries, I'm sorry, the code enforcement side of things. I think he's looking into that now. So you should be seeing the code enforcement for like exterior property maintenance stuff. You'll see that soon. But the other part of my code is lengthy. There's a lot there. And it's going to take me probably a good year to get through all of that. So it's your pleasure whether you want to see it all at once, and we can break that down into work sessions, or do you want to start piecemealing it together? And my issue with the piecemealing part is if we piecemeal this, is it going to contradict another area of code that we're not recognizing?
Right.
Perfectly good example, when we did the chickens, we didn't do any setback requirements for chicken runs, but in the agricultural district, if you want to have cattle, you have to have a 200 yards or foot setback. So in residential, you don't have to have a setback, but you do it agricultural. So we have some issues with our code just in that area there. So do you want a piecemeal, or do you want to see it all in one piece, all in one section?
What's council's thought? You want to wait till he gets it done and then proceed with it?
Yeah. Make it less
So we'll do that and not do the previous request.
Sorry.
Jake's happy. He's just lost money.
That's a.
But what I wanted to ask council on Mr. Moore's comment about the registration for the vacant buildings and houses, does council want to move forward with that program?
Which program are you talking about?
It's the program he was talking about. It's free, doesn't cost us anything, to register vacant retail stores, locations, and vacant houses in the city. So we know who they are and charge them whatever he said, it could go up to $10,000 a year if they don't get it rented or sell it or something. You want to re-explain that, Mr. Moore?
I can, and so it was pretty much spot on. So the vacant property registration, just specifically the old Speedway store has been sitting empty for years. And so they would register that property as vacant. They would have a year to do something with it. If there's nothing done in a year, then that price doubles. The following year, it triples. And so that continues to keep going on until you maybe put a cap on it. So if it's, your cap is $10,000, he's going to pay $10,000 per year until he either sells it off or puts a legitimate business in there. Like I said, the software that I can get is free. It does charge the end user. Yeah, and they cut us a check after they take their portion.
So
You would need legislation for it.
what happens to vacant property
I've seen in some places where.
where it's a vacant lot?
With
say-
no structure,
No structure on it. So north of town, the missionary church has owned 5 acres up there for, do they now, because they haven't built a church on there, they get started whacked with?
they would register it as a vacant property. It wouldn't be a vacant structure, it would be a vacant property.
So would the fees apply to vacant land that's being farmed or whatever?
No, because it's farm.
Okay, because the land that Mr. Bond's speaking of, there's been a sign up there for years.
Is it zoned?
But I think somebody's farming it.
No, it's not. Yeah, they would have to register because it's not zoned agricultural, but when you do the legislation, you can omit agricultural to have to register vacant property in agricultural districts.
I think this requires more discussion.
I think so
probably
too.
before-
Because I'm going to be able to get something drafted with Mr. Jeffries before we do a full presentation.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense.
Okay.
I'm just kind of shooting at the hip here because it came up, and I just wanted to plant that seed. This is kind of some things I've been seeing that other municipalities have done.
I think it would be a good idea to know who owns these properties and what vacants we have. And if they're not going to do anything with it, then charge them. But if it's land, vacant land, like a vacant lot, I'm not sure I'd want to charge them for a vacant lot as long as they're maintaining the lot.
Well, in a residential district, though, a house can be built there.
Right.
So either register it as a vacant lot or sell the land so somebody can build. Because now we can have a resident in that home that's contributing to the tax base. Because otherwise, they're just paying property taxes and we're not getting any of that.
And if I could, Mr. It's not just about the tax dollars that we're not receiving. Like, we have to look at this, and this is something that I really want to, foot stomp when we talk about the comprehensive plan, that every rooftop is a separate shareholder within our municipality. And you are, if we're looking at this as a business, like, you are the board members and I'm your CEO, running the business. So we want to entice people to want to buy and invest in property in New Carlisle. So we have an obligation to safeguard their investment. And you can still utilize the property rights, but if you're in a dense, residential district and there's been a vacant lot, beside you, for years, like, that's going to have a negative consequence on the properties that are touching that lot. Because there's a vacant lot or an abandoned lot, house or something like that, or an abandoned business or a business that's just utilizing it as a storage facility for something. There's negative consequences. We are shareholders. I mean, we own property in New Carlisle, and that we use taxpayer dollars to invest in. And if we want to get a return on our investment, we should care about the properties that are in the general vicinity of our investments. So I think if we look at it through that lens, to me, it makes a lot more sense that, we see these D.R. Horton builds going on right now in different communities that are 15, 20 minutes away, and they're worth more money. Why are they worth more money? We should want to entice people to, want to buy houses here because we'll maximize their profits. And that's just, I guess, my method of thinking when I'm thinking about these types of things. Yes, I care about the living conditions for our rentals and folks who are renting and things of that nature. But I also think that we have investors in this community, lots of them, And we need to be, not only good stewards of the money they pay us, but we need to enhance their investments they've made in our community.
Anything else from council? Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, do you have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shammy,
Yes.
Mayor Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Let you know.